You do not need thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers. You don't need to chase trends, and you don't need to go viral to grow your business efficiently on social media. And here's why, right? You see, most marketing agencies, advertising agencies, coaches and gurus online are all constantly giving you guys fear-mongering information about like you need to get out of 300 view jail, or that you need to get 1 million views on your social media, and then they get you to compare with your competitors online that have thousands or hundreds of thousands of followers to make you think that that's what you need to do too to be growing your business efficiently online. And that is just a lie, right? More views does not equal more growth, right? And virality does not equal conversion. And attention does not equal trust, right? The thing is that attraction doesn't necessarily equate to conversion. Trust does, right? And so what virality does is it gets you attention. That's just the very first layer of a funnel. Is everyone familiar with a typical marketing funnel? Anybody? Hands raised, hands raised. Okay, so in a typical marketing funnel, there's 3 stages. If you can imagine like your typical funnel that you would put inside of a car to change your oil or to put oil into your car, right? In order to get your oil into the car, you put the funnel into the oil spot in your car, right? And so that top layer is going to be your awareness channel, right? Then there's a second layer that is called your consideration stage, or where you nurture. And then there's the bottom of the funnel, which is actually where your leads convert, right? And so the thing about what virality does is that it can increase your opportunity to gain attraction to your top of funnel and your awareness. So what these people aren't saying isn't inherently a lie, but it's not the full picture, it's not the full truth, right? It's only focusing on the very top of your funnel, which doesn't necessarily equate to what actually converts, right? And that's where storytelling, right? We're in the storytelling that sells workshop. That's where storytelling is what really plays the key property of what converts people into buyers. Oh. And so attention without intention creates window shoppers. Did some online window shopping today, didn't spend any money, right? Who here has a brick and mortar business? Anybody? Brick and mortar business? What do you have?
Photography studio.
Photography studio. So if people were coming in to your photography studio and they were just putting their hands all over the cameras, not actually taking a picture with you, not actually paying you, right? Are you actually growing in your business? No, right? And so the same way as if you were to go to, say, Vons, right, or Target, and you're just walking up and down the aisles, I'm guilty of this as well, right? And you're just going there to kill time, right? So you are, yes, getting a lot of attraction to your physical space, or you're getting a lot of attraction to your business as it's growing. However, you're not actually converting, right? People are just being window shoppers. And we don't want window shoppers, because that is not actually how you grow a business. A business, right, is a product or a service that you are selling to a specific customer, right? And so for me, in my business, when I first started, I'm gonna take you back a little bit to when I first started my restaurant. So I started a restaurant 6 years ago. It was called Smack and Gourmet and Grill. And I made the same mistake, right? Towards the tail end of my business, right? Because when I first started going viral, trends, you know, social media was actually social media. It wasn't social selling, right? And so towards the tail end, me and my lovely wife over there, Stephanie, you know, we did some of the trend chasing, some of the things, tips and hacks to go viral on social media. But I can tell you firsthand that didn't actually make any conversion on our bottom line when it came to more traffic, more sales. People were following us, right, on social media, and it got a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs in building that, but we weren't necessarily building authority and trust with our audience, it's just like a nice, fun game, right? It doesn't actually get them through our doors to actually purchase anything. And so stories that sell are the ones that actually stay in their lane. You guys all here as business owners, people starting up or seasoned business owners, you all have a story. You all have a gift, and you guys all have a unique offer that was put into your hands to go and bring into the marketplace, right? That's why we're all here. You guys all had a vision, or you had a friend that gave you a vision, or you went on a vacation and then you got inspired. When you start your business or when you are going to market with your content marketing, you just need to stay in your lane, right? You already have all the expertise, all of the knowledge, and you just need to trust the process as you go and share your story. And so to this day, my restaurant, since we closed back in March of last year, we only got to 5,000 followers total on social media, right? And as you can see, kind of towards this is like kind of like our feed right now. If you were to go to our page, you'll see like some of the trends and things like that, right? But it wasn't those things that sustained us over the past 5.5 years that we were doing this business, which was netting 500K in revenue plus year over year, right? It was the simple things like telling our story, right? Showing who our customers are, spotlighting them, right? Sharing what they experienced as they're trying our food, right? And seeing their facial reactions, and then that inspired somebody else, and then referrals build off of that, right? It was documenting our processes. So here you can see like this red rice is glowing today, and that was my wife whipping up the red rice in a pot, right? So showing your behind the scenes process. And then at the end of that is when you make a direct offer. So something like the Super Bowl package, right? Or showing me with a chicken plate in my hand, right? And as you can see here, I was even interviewing some of our customers and seeing what their reaction was as we were actually in the day-to-day process, right? And don't take my word for it. Here is some of the clients that we work with, or one of the clients that I work with. He is Commander Mark Devine. He was a former SEAL commander, turned leadership coach, does organizational training. And so what we did with his processes, right, is he had marketing agencies before that were just taking his content, flipping them into reels, and then just like mass producing them, right? It's not actually telling your story. But through this, we were able to transform his overall profile, generating him 3.76 ROAS on his ads, getting him like $5.70 per lead by transforming the way that we took his content approach. And so we identified his content pillars about who he is, right? So right when you get to his page, you talk about who you are, right? They can find out exactly who I'm working with, right? As a business, what my product is, the people behind the product, right? So if you have multiple people working on it with you, you might showcase your C-suite management, and really just the founder story. So like, what was all of the steps that took you to get to where you are now, right? What led to this great moment where you wanted to launch this product or service in the first place? Then we introduced the unbeatable leaders that he's worked with, right? So all of his clients, all of his brands, all of the organizations that actually saw transformation in under 90 days, right? And then the last pin post is going to be your call to action to your lead magnet, or just kind of your highest value touch point that they're gonna receive something back from it. And so we created a Unbeatable Leader Challenge, where it was a virtual webinar where we had 375 leads sign up for this virtual webinar ticketed event. And then he was able to kind of give them a coaching experience before they actually hired him to be a coach. So we implemented that within his brand and then grew his channel to 40.2K. It's like 40.3 right now on Instagram. We also manage across like YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Facebook as well. And so the big idea here is that you don't need to go viral. You just need to scale your seeds. And so what do I mean by that? Is that the seeds framework is that you start with identity tension, right? And so as you guys can see on your handouts right now, you guys are gonna not only take this theory, but you're gonna put it into practice. So you have your handouts there, and you're gonna start with your identity tension. So this is going to be the thing that's like, what is the common things that I don't agree with that's happening in the industry versus what my frame of work looks like? You know, where does my expertise really lie? What do I really care about versus what my competitors are saying? And then you're going to expose the real problem, right? So the real problem isn't that it's wrong to go viral on social media, right? The real problem is that it's only telling one part of the story. It doesn't actually lead to conversion, right? E is going to be empathize with your story and proof. So as I shared with you guys, I once made the same mistake in my business, right? I tried to chase trends, I tried to go viral on social media, but here's the result that actually happened within my restaurant business. But here's the framework that actually does work by showing you my client, Mark Devine, where we took his business to 50K in revenue month over month by implementing this process. D is to deliver the principle or deliver the path. So showing you the step-by-step expertise framework that you guys all have that really distinguishes your business, your product, your service, your unique secret sauce from your competitors. And then S is going to be send with clear next steps, right? So this is going to be where you make your call to action. Right, so follow me on Instagram or continue on with this workshop, right? And so as I said, it's not about going, you don't need to go viral, you need to scale your seeds. So we see the seeds framework here. Now what does it mean to scale your seeds? So this is the next layer after you identify all of these storytelling frameworks that actually sell on social media. To grow your business on social media, right? Then you're gonna wanna scale this content, bring it to life, and distribute it, what we call omnipresent distribution. Are you guys familiar with the term omnipresent distribution? Okay, omnipresent distribution is showing up to the right people, right? So your ideal audience on the right platforms with the right formats. So what does that mean? Like when I talked about doing your founder story, when I talked about doing your behind the scenes processes, when I talk about showcasing your testimonials or your proof of result, or making direct call to actions, right? These are all content pillars, content lanes that you need to identify that then you can use this seeds framework to tell the story across all of these different avenues and vehicles to tell those stories. And so what we do to scale, right, is we develop this omnipresent distribution channel through our company, MK Media, which is our creative media agency. If you guys want to learn more about that, we have the booth over there. But what we do is we'll come in and we scan your brand. So we identify everything from your full funnel, so your awareness campaigns, your consideration level, and then what actually is going to lead to a better conversion, right? Me being a business coach, and the reason why I started a restaurant in the first place was because I wanted to be able to eventually become a business coach and do exactly what I'm doing for you guys, right? I wanted something tangible. So I've been an entrepreneur since 16 years old. I started my first business out of my mom's garage selling vape juice. So I did R&D work, distribution, manufacture, eventually got a manufacturing contract. I turned that away because I wasn't quite ready. I was only 16. And so I wanted to provide something tangible that when I bring it to market and be in front of you guys, that you guys could actually trust me, right? I wanted to develop some more proof. And so I felt like the restaurant was that thing for me. And then that then led to the translation of what I do now, which is more geared towards like direct marketing, creative marketing. Anywho, that's what we do with Merrick House Media, is we come in, we scan your brand, your full funnel, not just the awareness, not just what's going to nurture, but actually develop the full content system that's going to generate you authority and demand online. C is you're gonna then create the content by creating scripts using this seeds framework. So once you guys are able to fill out all of these key pieces, you guys can then put this into a long form strategy if you wanna do long form on YouTube, or you can use it for short form strategy to build authority and demand online. So it's a step-by-step process that you guys can implement today. A is that you need to activate the creatives, right? So many of you are so caught up on just like capturing content, right? Taking pictures, taking videos, right? But are you actually posting it, right? And not just posting it to make random posts or making viral post content, but building authority with your content, right? That's the biggest distinguishment that I'm trying to make here. If you're gonna take anything away, is that you have to be generating authority building content. Not just content that's gonna help you go viral, not just content that's gonna help you chase trends or get massive following, right? We don't just want window shoppers, we wanna create content, not be the auntie at the family parties that just got the selfie stick and posting all of that random content, right? You wanna be making posts that actually are generating you business and traffic towards your specific offer, and people really getting to know you as the expert, as the founder. Then L is to learn from that data, right? So you're not just trying to learn for views, right? You're not just trying to analyze data of what's working for views, right? Because that's just one layer, like I said. You wanna be analyzing your data of what's actually gathering engagement. So looking at what is getting shared, looking at what is getting saved, what is getting reposted, what is getting commented on, right? Once you find those on your organics, then the next step is you're gonna do paid content, paid ads towards those creatives by shifting that content into what's more like ad friendly, ad ready, right? But you can take what you learned from the organic content and then shift that creative into something that's gonna work when you bring it to paid strategy. And then E is to expand on what works. So exactly that, doubling down on what you're seeing in your engagement, not just on what you're seeing in your views. And then you bring that to the paid market, so then you have this full wheelhouse, right, of attacking all of your ideal clientele right where they're at through every single platform with the different formats. And so we're gonna take this theory and we're gonna put it into practice, right? By developing your guys' story, using the seeds framework in this workshop that you have on the handout here, so that you guys can develop pinky trust, right? You guys can develop trust with your audience, right? Because that is the second layer that actually converts, right? So you have your awareness. You need to do things that are gonna build you awareness, and then you need to develop content that's gonna build you trust, right? And through this seeds framework, you're actually doing both, because you are putting content out there that is obviously gathering you awareness, gathering you eyeballs, right? But because you're telling the story behind the education, you're also building trust at the same time. That's going to then generate you demand, right? So more leads can come in through your link in bio, or what we do with like our client with Mark Divine is we have automations set up where, you know, I'm sure you guys have seen like comment the word this, you know, and we'll send you a link to this, right? So we set up all of that on an integrated level, so that no leads actually slip through, right? We set up automations and AI automations as well, so that you don't leak leads, but generate you demands through this storytelling, building trust, and then that's what's actually gonna allow you to grow, right? And so this is the storytelling that sells workshop, how to grow your business efficiently on social media. This is how you do it, is this exact process of what I just did to you guys. If you guys don't know, I have a camera here in the back, right? And I have a camera here off to the side. I'm gonna be able to take this content, right? It's a long form video that I can then take to social media, take to YouTube, right? And then I'm gonna be able to then clip up all of this content, right? And be able to distribute it across all of my channels at the end of this workshop, right? So I literally am teaching you guys the exact framework, using the exact framework to build trust with you guys, right? And then this is gonna generate me leads either via here in this workshop, or it's gonna get posted to my distribution platforms so that people can find me online using this exact same framework, right? And so if this resonated with you, make sure you guys scan the QR code at the back of the second sheet, where you're gonna be able to have the opportunity to work with me directly, learn more about what we do in and through MK Media and also my creative media agency. I'm Christian Graham, co-founder of Miracross Media and the MK Lab, and I help leaders scale their brand impact, income, and influence through creative media strategies to help them build brand awareness, brand authority, and demand in their business so that they can steward more and stress less. And so if you found this helpful, make sure you guys scan the QR code. Cool? Let's get connected. Fill the form out. And join our email listing. We're really trying to build more than just a marketing agency, more than just a content studio. We really want to build community of brand builders, those that are seasoned all the way at the top, making 8 figures in revenue like our client, or the ones that are, just getting started. And so stay up to date with that. Scan the QR code there. And then I think you guys also have my contact on the back of that if you guys wanted to book a discovery call, if you guys were seriously interested in like taking next steps with us. Yeah, so.
The discovery call.
Oh, awesome. Yay. Yeah. Awesome. What's your name?
Lori.
Lori, thank you so much, Lori. I look forward to that call.
You too.